Do it for the folks at home.
Is the thing working? Is it?
That's disturbing.
Is the engine working on that joke?
Is the engine working?
Yeah. Is the battery cold? What you do is you turn it over gently. Turn it over gently.
What is going on?
If you want to start it on a cold morning, you just turn it over gently, let it warm up a little, and then start it. Yeah.
Wait, are you ready?
Yeah. If you pour boiling water over that, you'll help it. You just get the frost out of it.
It's cold mornings by the sounds of it. That's the sound of a cold morning. Can you do that again?
Inward screaming.
Yeah, why do? Whoa!
That's class.
That's like
That
some
was
sort of dolphin.
mental.
Is that what you did in
Dolphin
college
noise.
this week?
I can't do that.
It's like you kind of
Stop it.
You start
Too
by
noisy.
you start by doing like the kind of noise, and then you kind of go more aggressive with that, and you eventually get like a.
Welcome, right over to the intro music. Hey, thanks to Stevie's intro music. He's the dolphin and he is the composer.
She
of
said I'm the dolphin.
You are the dolphin and the composer. That is a fact here. Welcome back to
brilliant.
Ireland's most aquatic show, where we have a doctor, an architect, and a dolphin. And it's a
Who
really
all live underwater.
yeah. That's I think the three species that live underwater makes this architects. Dolphins and doctors are all aquatic species. That's a fact. Welcome back to the Most Factual Podcast. How are you on this fine Friday?
We are fantastic, and we were just having a good chat there with Stevie about mass.
Oh, what are you saying, Stevie?
Mass. We were saying, Stevie said he hasn't been to mass.
Have you not? Like,
I haven't been to mass.
I've been to like
Really?
I've been to like weddings, funerals, like those things, and
Why would-
I've been to 1 or 2 months mine since, but like I've never been to mass,
yeah.
normal mass. I don't think it now.
And how are you feeling right now?
He's dying for a mass.
Like, do you,
No.
do you feel like plagues upon you from not going to mass, and you swarms of locusts?
I just find churches really uncomfortable. Like just
Yeah.
the smells,
They're
like the
cold as
echo.
well.
I was at a
Yeah.
mass in a house.
Why?
You don't have to go. You don't have to. You don't have to go. You don't have to have a mass in a church. You can have a mass in a house. And in fact, you could have a mass in a car. I've heard of people having mass in a car.
That's okay.
That's something else.
That's something else.
probably.
Yeah.
That's
Is that not just prayer? Like
No,
you're talking about
no.
not communion with
No,
Jesus,
a
but
full
communion
mass
with
ringing
another.
The little bell and everything.
like the CD tray opens up and there's like communion there.
No.
Oh yeah.
No. A full mass in a car with the little bell, the communion, the whole lot.
I know people.
You'd be
I know
smoked
people
out
who
of
went
it.
to like a drive-through mass, which was kind of funny during
That's
COVID.
mad.
Well,
Yeah.
I heard Graham Lenihan talking about that on the radio before that. His uncle was a priest and he was flying in from somewhere and flying out. So they drove up to the airport, had a quick mass in the Ford Cortina and let him fly off again.
Wait, in the Ford Cortina.
Yeah.
Is a Ford Cortina like an expensive car?
No, it was just kind of in the middle of the road, ordinary car. But
Yeah.
what are you doing with the yogurt?
Well, I'm just fucking getting my. You're shaking it, so it's nicer.
Okay.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
That noise is awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. Oh yeah, the other question I had, Stevie, what's love got to do with it? Was that was Tina Turner, was it?
I mean,
What
what is love? But damn, I don't know the lyrics.
What's love
What's
got to
love?
do with it? I was listening
Don't
to that on the
hurt
radio. I was
me
thinking, what's she
no
talking
more.
about?
I reckon
What's she
I
asking?
don't
Like,
think it's got to
what's the
do-
question? What's the question?
she's definitely got a splinter. That's 100% what's
And
wrong
then,
with
yeah,
her.
she went to the doctor and
Yeah,
like, it's
I-
love. And she's like, what's love got to do with it?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand the question that she's asking. Like, I listened to it for years, but I don't understand what is she actually asking me.
I don't think love's got anything to do with anything.
Yeah, except even mass.
be
Yeah.
Got to do with it. Yeah, I don't know.
And has anyone ever?
Is the next lyric, what's love but a second-hand emotion?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is dead right
Oh.
there.
And has anyone ever loved something they shouldn't?
Yeah.
Like an inanimate object?
No, yeah, I did. A Mitsubishi Pajero. What?
What happened?
I'm not having a
I
nice
fell in
time.
love
There's too much noise.
I
And
fell in
there's
love
too many
with-
things going on. And I'm too cold. And
Have
the Friday feed.
Have something to eat there, Karen.
No, it's okay. Sorry, what were you
I
saying?
fell in love with a Mitsubishi Pajero.
Wait, what? Really?
What? Yeah,
That's definitely illegal.
it's not.
Is it?
No, I had a big problem with a Mitsubishi Pajero. I bought a Mitsubishi Pajero in good faith from a guy up in Kells, and just thought it would be fine and all that. But 14 years later, the thing started to fall apart.
Really?
And it wouldn't go through the DOE or MOT or whatever, but I'd become attached to it at this stage. It's a long time together, you know. It lasts longer than most marriages.
Did it feel like family? Or?
It did. And then I thought, right, I have a dilemma here. What do I do? I just can't leave it in front of my house forever.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sell it. That would be like selling a family member.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that would be weird.
So my friend of mine, John, came to my rescue and said that he would restore it. I don't think he really wanted to restore it. But
Was that the equivalent of going to the farm?
Yes.
For your
Yeah.
car?
It was. He said, I told him my problem. He said, think of it this way. It's going to be restored and back on the road and looking good.
That's what they said about our dog, isn't it, Owen? That's what Mum said about our dog. Going to be back on the road soon. I've never seen him again.
I haven't seen John in my Mitsubishi Pajero. I haven't even seen it around John's house, so I'm thinking he probably sold it. But I don't know. But
do you think he did it in your interest, though?
Probably, yeah, because he solved an emotional problem I was having. Well,
Sent it to scrap.
Haley,
that's like
what's love got to do with it?
that. Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing to do with anything. I've already told you that.
What's love but a second-hand Pajero?
Pajero, yeah, exactly. It was third hand at that stage. I bought it second hand, you know. But lads, if anyone ever tries to sell you a Jeep up around Kells, don't buy it.
Really?
Yeah, they'll fall apart.
Or books. They have a book up there too.
But you said you had it 14 years. That's a reasonable amount of time
That's
for
a really
something.
good
I
amount.
bought it in good
Yeah.
faith. I bought it in good
That's
faith.
like two
Stevie.
dogs. You could have two dogs in
I
that.
bought it in good faith, and the guy in the MOT centre said no more. It's corroded. Don't come back here anymore.
corroded.
Yeah, I said, but it was okay last year. What happened between last year and this year?
Yeah.
I just saw my old car outside a car place on Thursday night when I was coming home from work. Horrible, felt horrible.
Yeah, it feels like leaving a
Felt
child.
awful guilt. Yeah, I literally said to you, didn't I? It was like I'd passed a child that I'd given away outside a garage,
what's
and I
love?
felt
So
like he
you
was
said
looking at
you
me
said
like,
it would have been easier to give away your child
No, you didn't.
than
No,
the
I
car.
didn't.
I'm only messing.
Yeah,
But it was.
because there's the
Sorry for the
legalities
jokes.
with that, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. But yeah, go on anyway.
No, that was I was the
It was
same.
horrible. I was
felt
so
terrible.
upset.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's
I
like,
felt awful.
oh, so I carried you around for 14 years, but I'm not good enough now. Is that not kind of what you're saying by driving something that's
Exactly.
betraying that Jeep?
And as I walked away, I felt fucking dreadful. I was close to tears, and I was
Yeah.
like, these people in the garage are going to think I'm a nutter. And like, I just got up and walked off after everything that little car had done for me.
And this is where you repay it.
All
Just
those kilometres.
off to the scrapyard.
I felt awful. And do you know what? He looks, that little car looked like a little guinea pig or something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
he was
mine
so
as
cute
well,
and
yeah.
lovely. And when I opened the blind in the morning, he'd be there with his little
Mine
twitchy
used to
citron
smile at
nose
me.
looking
Did she
at me
sit your nose?
You know what I
My
mean?
Pajero. When I used to walk up the street, the Pajero would smile.
Yeah.
Really?
Benny did. Benny, you see, my daughter even gave him a name, which was even worse.
Oh, did you have a name for yours?
No,
Really?
I don't think so.
Will you name him now? Is that fucked up?
Pajero.
Is that fucked up to name him now?
Benny
Yeah.
used to get really excited.
That'd be-
and sometimes I
that's
swear
probably
to God,
traumatic.
I'm always losing cars in the car park.
Yeah.
I swear to God, Benny would call me. I would know in the general direction.
But was
Yeah.
that not while you were off your face on drugs at the time? So that could have been the drugs. Now, if we're being honest, Haley. Remember you were off your head over that time.
I?
Yeah, remember. You just done acid, and we were going back to the car park, and you were telling me the car was calling you. So it could have been the acid. We're not 100% sure. Well, maybe Benny was
Did
calling you.
I take a
Who
lot
might
of acid? Did I take
Yeah,
a lot of acid?
you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you stood beside a shopping trolley just shouting Benny at it for ages.
Well,
Oh.
and I see Benny took acid too.
Yeah,
The car took acid. That's probably the problem.
Battery
Yeah,
acid.
God love him.
Battery.
Yeah. And he sniffed a lot of petrol.
Oh,
A lot
What?
of petrol.
what one? He was a keeper. Yeah.
Full of acid and petrol. We like that.
Um,
That's like most of my ex-boyfriends, to be perfectly honest with you.
full of acid and petrol.
Yeah, full of acid and sniffing petrol.
That's funny. Speaking about ex-boyfriends, acid, petrol, and
And at
cars we
least- at
loved
least
who are no
Benny
longer
took
with
me
us.
places.
Yeah. Did
Like, up
they
and
never
down the
did they never
M7.
take you places? No.
They never took me anywhere.
Really?
Then he took me the whole stretch of the M7
That's how. Go
many
on.
times.
Shout out to Benny.
Sorry. Yeah,
You know, speaking of
Rest in peace, Benny.
liquids. Does anyone ever? I have a story that involves. It's a sort of second-hand story, but I bear witness to the facts about urine and poppers. Do you know what poppers are?
I do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know what urine is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me again.
So there's a friend who watches the show. She's she loves the show, but she was she's one of our biggest fans, and she lived in a house down in the south of Ireland, and there was a big house, many stories,
country.
many rooms, and there's a good few of them living there.
Very big
So
house in the
someone
country.
she had a smaller room at first, and then someone moved out of one of the other rooms. So there's all sorts of random people living there, students, workers, or whatnot, and yeah, she moved into this room. It was a big room, and like it was just a pure party house. Like, but she went in. There was one house where there was one room where the guy never came out or anything like that, and so he moved out, and she went in there to move in there because it was a bigger room, and the room was empty. But opened up the wardrobe, and the wardrobe was full of, like, if I remember correctly, loads of 2 liter bottles of urine and poppers and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it was interesting. Do you ever find anything like that in the wardrobe?
I found a bottle of piss behind a door of a house once.
No way.
I was cleaning up a house I was moving out of, and yeah, when I was like in college in Maynooth, and there was just like a bottle of piss.
No way. What?
How did you confirm it was piss?
I didn't
you
confirm,
know,
but like,
you
Did
can
you
know.
taste it?
I didn't
I-
open
Did
it
it
or
taste like
anything. Like,
piss?
just like I don't know.
I think you know, don't you?
You
Like,
do.
You do. You do.
This is weird because we had this conversation last night, me and my dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. About like milk rounds. We were talking about milk rounds,
Wait, what?
right? And he
Oh, yeah.
used to do a milk round, then milk the cows down Crow Street and do a milk round, but people used to piss in the big milk bottles. And that's disgusting.
What the fuck?
Not like when they were full or anything like that, like as in they used to use them under the beds, like in a certain institution.
Why?
What institution?
I can't say because of your legal reasons. They still exist.
Does the institution?
They had to complain because like they need the milk bottles for the milk round, like not for toilets under people's beds. Yeah.
So times are changing, as Bob Dylan said, and I think we're better off.
Yeah, I think so.
We're better off.
Yeah.
The times are changing.
And I suppose they didn't have toilets back then, maybe indoor toilets.
Did it? Did
Did they?
What-
Or they couldn't be
What
bothered.
did they do with the
They didn't.
the urine
The
and
problem
poppers?
is that's the kind of thing where you'd excuse if they're not bothered and they're on a bus, but that's the thing where they were bothered and they did that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it took more to do that than go elsewhere.
And I know somebody that went in to clean out a flat once, and under the bed was all these bottles, yeah. full of piss.
Of piss, yeah. And were they hydrated? That's always interesting to me. Were they hydrated?
No, dehydrated.
Isn't it the same people that piss in the bottles are dehydrated? That's a fact.
Absolutely.
I've never seen a bottle of piss that's clear and hydrated.
Hmm.
What about you? You're a doctor.
Do you know what? Like, it's really.
Well, I can only assume that if they're too lazy to go to the bathroom, they're too lazy to
have a drink.
Yes,
That
that
makes
would be
sense.
my reasoning
Do you know
along
the way
that.
like our piss
Yeah.
is all the colours of the rainbow? Yeah.
Getting there anyway.
Well, if you
Oh
look
yeah,
at,
yeah.
What?
Sorry, yeah.
Which is my one?
Yours is the green.
Okay.
Kieran's is the yellow.
I like.
Yeah, I know hydrated.
Mine's the pink from all the beetroot juice
Okay.
that I drink.
What like is the
Yours is blue
why
from
does
the
doctor
Mr.
want us to
Freeze.
give in these samples anyway? What are they going to learn from that?
Just kind of like where
we're at.
moral compass, like what we think of the world and sort
Yeah.
of things like that.
Yeah, it's
And
nice.
they're
to have them.
decorative.
Yeah,
They're
it is.
decorative, really.
Should we just keep them?
Out of all those colors,
Yeah.
which one would you be most worried about if it was the color of your piss?
Red.
I feel like red.
Red.
Yeah,
Oh,
red.
blue.
Full of blood.
Just blood, yeah.
Red.
I'd say
The rest of
actually,
them might have a
either
good
red or blue
time.
because red is bad because blood.
Mm.
But if it was blue, you wouldn't even know why.
Yeah.
But at least in red, you go, okay,
yeah.
grand, this is unhealthy. I need to get this checked
yeah,
out.
but
and stuff
man,
like-
man,
and I
but
know roughly what it is. But
if you're
blue-
talking about drips, then the red. But like, if you actually imagine, right, you're looking down and you're pissing, and like, what color streams out? Just red streaming out. I'd literally, you die. Like, if that amount of blood is just coming
Yeah.
out of your
It's called
sacred hose.
Frank blood, and it's called hematuria.
Okay.
What's it called?
That's what we have there.
Hematuria
If you're
means
doing that.
blood in your urine. Yeah.
And is that a bad sign, Haley?
Not great.
As a doctor now, I want your professional opinion.
It's not great.
If that happens, what do I need to
Professional opinion,
Yeah, what do
not
I need to be
great.
thinking? So,
Get to a doctor.
can I continue weeing though until I'm
Yeah, we'll pee it all out. Finish. Don't-
Finish it up.
Never,
finish the job?
never stop
Put away the old
midstream.
chap and head for the whales. Is that
Never
what-
stop midstream.
Why?
It's just not good for you.
Okay.
It's just not good for you. There is a condition called phenylketonuria.
They used to be my username.
The urine is
PlayStation.
described as like smoky coloured, like a sort of
Could you have
greyish
smoke
colour.
coming out of it
That would be cool.
as an effect? Like,
Yeah, that would be
Like,
cool.
would that- what?
If you like pissing potion,
Yeah.
if you like brewing potions
Could
in
that
your
work?
bladder,
Alchemy.
Is that a known condition? The smoke and piss.
potion bladder.
Yeah.
It's not a known medical condition, no.
We'll make
What's the
it known.
weirdest one?
The weirdest what? Bladder
thing
condition.
you
or-
can piss.
The weirdest thing you can piss.
Yeah.
Piss,
Salmon.
To be honest.
Salmon
this
fish.
is about the weirdest.
Like, is it not bits of salmon? Like an
No, like
entire full
salmons. Yeah, like salmons. Like
Big fish.
that's 100% the weirdest thing you could like. Or a zebra. You're just pissing big zebras.
a welly boot.
That's
That would be the weird.
No, I think like jelly.
oh.
Ooh.
That
Like that
would that
jelly
be nice though? At
that
the
comes
same
in
time?
pork pies. Oh, that's always what I think of when people say jelly.
I don't know what
is weird.
why this reminded you of this, but I think it's just because you're on about like excreting like stuff like. But in college one day, like we were all like sitting in the common room and chatting, and people were talking about the whole like idea of like cheese and like milk and stuff, and that like technically you can make cheese from anything that produces milk. So then people started laughing at the idea that
Eat
like.
your food here now before this is the last
No, but
chance.
people were laughing at the idea of like, you know, things like human cheese and all that, and like all the things you'd
Yeah,
expect,
yeah.
like dolphin cheese and all these weird things.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, wait, but what's the story with like a platypus? Because like they're
Yeah,
a mammal,
they're
but they
weirdos.
lay eggs. And then we googled it, and I just feel like I want to share this fact with people.
Please
so that
do.
it's so weird.
Yeah.
A platypus doesn't have teeth, so they can't produce milk normally. So they basically like excrete it through their pores. So a platypus sweats milk.
Oh, lovely.
And like that is horrible to me. Like the idea of like as weird as a platypus already.
Lactating over your entire body.
Yeah.
So if you
So like now you can always say like, oh, I'm
Imagine the smell of that.
I'm lactating like a platypus if you're really sweating
that's a good
or sweating milk.
sweating milk. That sounds
Because that
fun.
smell is horrible. That the smell of anything dairy based.
But is all
Milky
milk dairy based?
Or is that
Is
oh,
dairy
is that-
just based on the cow, the dairy
Ooh.
cow? Like,
I don't know.
I imagine it's not dairy milk coming out of the platypus or
Gold.
our ancestors,
Oh yeah.
the ones who came before
But
us.
milk still has a weird smell, doesn't it? Wherever it comes from, I think.
I don't.
Still
I'm actually going to
smells
lie. I've only do have experience with cow's milk. I won't lie to you. I have
Goat's
not.
milk and sheep's milk smell.
I'm not a big fan of milk in general. I just
Yeah.
Really?
No, it's wrong.
Oh yeah, I was telling you about the experience. Was it about like?
What was it?
And I think it's more common now with the face mask. So it's
Yeah.
came up to me wherever. We're not going to say what. And he said, "What are you doing here?" And I went, "Oh,
This was in.
well, so where it is. Doesn't matter where it was.
Me and Owen were there in.
It doesn't matter where it was.
Really?
Yeah, because
Why we were there in.
Shut up.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter where it was. So this guy came up to me in a random fucking place that doesn't matter where it is. And he goes, "What are you doing here?" And I went, "Oh, well, how are you?" But I think it's to do with the face mask. I had no idea who he was. And I spoke to him for about 15 minutes. And he said, and he said, "I'm up with the lads." And I said, "Oh, right, yeah." And he goes, "Sure, you know the lads." And I said, "Oh, the lads." And we talked nonsense for 15 minutes. He went away. I still no wiser who he was. But I think I probably do know him, but it's just the face mask.
But do you think there's any chance that like he got
Yeah.
confused who you were
Could be
because
that.
of the mask
It could be
and
that
he
thought I
thought
was
you were
somebody
someone
else
else?
as well. But we had this.
But he was before he started talking to you. He was like like looking at me and him as if like.
okay.
But then I thought it was funny after like you were talking to him. Me and well, I can say his name.
No, you can't.
Owen. Me and Owen were up at the.
Just names, no location.
I won't say what counter. But
Yeah.
a counter.
Yeah.
And but yeah, and then Hugh just comes up to us. We were like, oh look, Hugh's talking to a friend, family. It looked like a very good. And then he comes up to us and was like, who's that? And we were like, I don't know. You were talking to him. Like that's why I thought it was funny. You were like asking us who that was. And we were-
That's the second time it's happened to me in about 2 weeks that I've talked to someone. But the first guy that happened to, I was talking to him for about a half an hour. And I had no idea who he was. And he had a mask on, I had a mask on. And after about 15 minutes in, the penny dropped who he was.
Yeah.
But he looked so different with the mask on. It's his mouth is his most distinguishing feature, like, and that
Yeah.
was covered. So it was only when he
I-
mentioned something, the penny dropped. And I do know him well, like, but I just, 15 minutes in, I had no idea. And I was winging it for 15 minutes, panicking in case he asked me anything that I don't know and I'm supposed to know, or he could be the wrong person.
I think it's because you meet so many people. Because cause it's definitely I've definitely been there before.
I had a worse one on the square where a girl came up to me and goes, well, and I went, well, And she goes, well, how are they going? How's the stuff going? And I said, grand, yeah, how are ye all yourselves? And I winged it for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And in the end, I just started to panic. I had no idea. And she said, have you done? And I said, my head has gone blank. I've said, I've no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And she turns out she thought I was my brother.
Oh, okay.
So it was someone my brother was working for. So I was actually winging it like a fucking idiot for someone that I had no idea who it was.
But you know, like in Ireland, you can have such weird general conversations that could go on for such a long time. That
you get away
illustrates
with it.
that perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever do that at home. Like have that talk to somebody for 15 minutes in that general chit chat way and not have it reach a point where it's like, I don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Like that would happen far sooner.
Would it, yeah?
Yeah.
That, yeah, I could imagine.
You
so.
can't do that. You'd die of embarrassment here if you had to bottle it like that, wouldn't you?
Well, I was saying this to my mother the other day, but my mother was like, because I was saying a similar story happened, but yeah, my mother was saying, you know, that, like, you know, she'd say it to them, but I was like, yeah, I'd say it to them if I'd say it to the person, look, sorry, I don't know who you are, but in a nicer way than that, if it was just me and them. But I feel like it'd be really embarrassing, like, so I was in a situation where there's someone there and another person. I didn't want to embarrass, like, that person says they know you. I don't want to embarrass them in front of someone. Like, you know, that would be embarrassing for me. If you go up like, hey, how are you? And the person's like, I don't know you. That's horrible.
I know.
Like, so I think it's okay if you're like, hey, but when you're just with them, but if there's someone else, I would never do that. I would just try and, that's why I try and keep it going, because I don't want to feel like it'd be embarrassing or something. But
I had a weird moment last night in Hickey's where, like, I was out the back talking to Tony and Bobo. And that woman came out to the smoking area, and she, like, walked up right to me and, like, stood beside me, and just, like, stared at the lads and she, like, started joking around, like, oh, like, don't mind them and stuff. So I was just like, who the fuck is this person? I meant to know her, like, because, like, like she knew me and was saying well to me.
I love that.
She was just talking away to me, and then, like, made it obvious that she didn't actually know me. She was just like, came up to and talked to me because I was short and she was short and she doesn't meet short people.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, this is really odd. And then she was then at one stage she was just like, oh yeah, but I'm only messing with you anyway. And she, like, hugged me and, like, just, like, ended up, like, just kissing my neck, and I was like, this is really weird.
Okay, yeah.
I went back inside then.
Fan of the show.
And I turned around to Bobo after Bobo came in, and I was just like, oh, that was really odd. And he was like, yeah, how do you know her? And I was like, I don't. I've never seen her before in my life. I haven't a clue who she is. And, like, they all just presumed it was a woman I knew, because that's...
Do you think she'd been at the petrol?
I don't know, but it's very uncomfortable.
That is it. That's mad. Yeah, I think, yeah, I've definitely had stuff like that.
I don't wear contact lenses or glasses, and I should, only when I'm driving.
I was gonna say,
I really can't see. I wouldn't have any of those as well, would I?
Yeah, when I drive
on my pretend penis.
Yeah, you have a pretend one. Would you just carry that around with you?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What would you do with a pretend penis? Sorry, go on. Don't mind this. This is a conversation.
That's something that you can think about for yourself for the next few minutes.
Pretending to urinate into bottles.
I can't see people until they're, like, probably as close as that window. Like, I genuinely can't see people properly. So people are always, like, waving, or like I saw you and I waved and I shouted across the, and I'm just like, I wouldn't have a clue, because until you're, like, actually right in front of me, I just don't know who you are. So I could get away with it that way. Be like, sorry.
Or that just reminds me of one thing. Like, because I got so used to, like, most people I knew for years not driving. I just got used to, like, if I heard a car beep, I just didn't even bother looking, because, like, oh, it's not for me. But the amount of times now in, like, recent years where people are like, I was beeping the horn at you and you didn't even look at the car. It's like, it just happens to me all the time. Like, I just don't even bother checking.
There's loads of times I passed where you would drive, I'd be in the car and he would be driving, and, like, you'd be there and I'd be, like, knocking on the window or something like that, and you just would not look, like.
Yeah.
And there's no way.
And, like, Megan, like, I remember one of the days he passed, like, and Megan was like, did you see them? And I was like, who? And he was like, Kieran and Hugh just passed. I was like, no, I didn't notice at all. And she was, like, waving herself, like. And
yeah.
Excited. But my granddad used to go around. They lived in the town there, and her father was blind, you know. And they used to walk around the square, and she'd go, "That's Marie, Daddy. Lift your hat." So he was a blind man going around lifting his hat and fucking everybody, which I think is fucking bizarre. Like,
what? And they were just taking the piss.
No, she was all into that kind of. You have to say hello to this one and hello to that one. He was blind. He wouldn't know anyone who was around. So you have a blind man going around the town waving at, nodding at people. Like, it was just all a bit bizarre.
Yeah, because he's one person like that.
Wouldn't be expected to wave.
Yeah, no one's expecting him. So, yeah, but you do something similar. You do. which is when you're driving,
Yeah.
you wave at every car you pass.
Oh, do I?
Because like you'll do like, well, not
Apart
every.
from me,
Oh.
apparently. I've
But, like,
driven
not
past you
every
loads
car.
of times and waved,
But-
and you just blanked me.
It's not every car. It's like if something triggers, like there's so many people in the town. You're a celebrity of the town, even before the podcast. So like so many people will like wave at you or whatever, or even beep at you while you're passing the car.
But
So like if a couple of people do it to you in a row, then I'll notice like every car you pass, you're just doing that on autopilot.
Finger in the neighbours.
Oh, you're
And finger in the neighbours like that.
finger in the neighbours. That's how it.
It's only polite to finger the neighbours.
That's what it is. Yeah, sorry, it's not your hand. It is. You do that. You
Yeah.
steer me and you go like.
I finger the neighbours. Yeah.
That's how you finger a
Fingering
community.
the best term for
Yeah,
that.
that's what I call it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Could it not be acknowledging the neighbours?
No, just fingering them. Just up. Like that.
Hugh Ryan
Yeah.
fingers his neighbours.
You're not too enthusiastic. Then they think you're demented. If you're kind of going like that, you're demented.
So waving is a no. Fingering is
Fingering is
accepted.
fine.
A
It's
polite
like-
fingering.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're acknowledging them, but not
A
getting carried
warm
away.
finger on
Yeah.
a cold day.
Yeah, makes the world a difference.
Yeah.
Warms up someone's heart, you know.
Jesus.
Yeah,
There's a long enough finger to get to the
do the
heart.
whole lot
I'm
of them.
not saying that. What?
yeah, do the whole lot of them. Don't you think that's the polite thing to do?
Yeah.
Got very busy fingers.
Busy
Yeah,
fingers.
just go along.
That's a nice name. Busy fingers. Busy fingers.
Few busy
And then,
fingers,
then
right?
there's some people that would always go give you the big salute like that.
Oh yeah.
And there's
nearly knock
there's
you
a
out,
couple
like.
of the same people that would do that to you. I always do that back to them as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I always. I know. Sorry.
That'd be like,
Oh,
something like that could be like a first cousin or something like that.
yeah. Do you know what I noticed? I love this is
Fingering the
people.
neighbours.
No. I'm more sort of what's the word? I'm community oriented. In a different
You
way.
expose yourself to the neighbours.
Okay, well then we'll get
Maybe
apples and oranges
that's
here.
Stop now, though.
What's worse?
He's kind of, that's
This is
stopped, yeah.
more of the limit.
Like since the guards. You know,
We're not
little
going to talk about
chat.
that.
Since that little chat, there's been no more instances of that. At least in the last 2 weeks. How many times did it happen in the last 2 weeks? It didn't happen at all, did it?
It was definitely it was definitely less than 4 times, which is a good.
Yeah,
Which is
I'm trying. It could happen anyone at 4 times, couldn't it?
Oh,
He's definitely settled down a bit. Anyway.
Yeah.
it's so messed up. That's even messed up. We
Just
can't
teaching
release
you
those specifics.
how to draw the curtains, really, wasn't it, in the bedroom?
Yes, I'm single for a reason.
Well, it was.
That's
That's true.
yeah. What was I going
Many
to say?
reasons, actually. You're single for many reasons.
Let's name them out. I want 3 reasons why you think nobody wants to be with me. Come on, all of you know. One each.
Well,
Go
that
on.
little problem is definitely clear now. So I don't see why that would be any obstacle anymore. Would you?
The exposing yourself thing is gone. Are there 2 others?
Well, it's almost cleared up anyway.
Yeah.
It's called an act of freedom.
Any ideas, Stevie?
I'm just trying to think of what I was actually talking about.
I don't know.
Be honest.
Maybe because you're not fingering the neighbours. Maybe if you started doing that, then you would appear more approachable. You know.
Yeah. Finger
What
the
do you
neighbours.
think?
What do I think about what?
Fingering the neighbours.
I never fingered any
just
neighbour.
stopped him from
I've never
exposing
fingered anyone.
himself.
I've never fingered any neighbour. I don't. Oh my god. What was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying before.
See,
You're not. You're a friend. I finger. What was he saying before? I don't even remember. It was very vital information, and it's gone.
Important.
Rest in peace to the
What's love
information.
got to do with it? That's what we were wondering.
Oh yeah, that is what we were wondering. It's got
That's
to do
the
with
ultimate
that.
question.
Finger neighbours.
Yeah, we've
fuck
already,
off.
haven't we established? Yeah, nothing. It's got nothing to do with anything.
Just a
Why are we even
second-hand-
talking about it?
Second-hand emotion. Isn't
Yeah. What would be your first-hand emotions, your primary emotions?
Oh, anger.
I was just about to say, would that be anger, hate,
Yeah.
rage?
Yeah.
I
What
don't.
else?
I don't know. I don't get properly angry that often.
When is the
Why
angriest
not?
you've ever got? Yeah, why
Angriest
not?
I've ever got. I don't know. There's been a few times like I don't know. In general, I don't know. It just
Yeah. What about you?
I get stressed more than angry or
Really? What's-
or frustrated. Like.
Why? Okay. What would you? What's the thing that's frustrated you the most that you never said that like you've never that you couldn't do it like you know it's like out of your control sort of thing. That's such a weird question. I don't even know what.
What was the question?
I don't even
What's
know.
the thing that's
I don't even know. We don't
the
even
thing that has frustrated me most that's out of my control?
Well, like, I don't know what.
Like ever?
I don't even know. Can you, I don't
I
know.
suppose trying to answer that question. Like,
Yeah, well, apparently it's just me and you having a conversation now. Anyway, the other two have
Do you
just.
know where my head has gone
that's
back
my
to?
that's my answer.
sorry,
the most
okay.
frustrating thing I've had to
Yeah, I
deal with
wanna
is trying to answer that question.
Yeah,
My
that's a good
head's
answer.
gone back to what did you do with those bottles of piss and poppers?
I
you
asked that
found
a while
in
ago and got no
wardrobe?
answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh right. I'm not going to say what. Wait,
What,
the
you drank
piss. Like no, I wasn't there when the like.
You
So-
you drank the piss and no.
And now
drank-
I've got loads of electric lights in them. They remember.
Electric lights.
They're decorative.
But I'd say they threw them out. But the other stuff, the poppers,
got
yeah,
made use of, utilized,
no comment. Sure. Look,
watered the plants.
will we and what like? Do you prefer that kind of chocolate, Stevie?
it's quite nice to be honest. Now, yeah.
Okay.
There was. I'll just tell my popper story. It's not my popper story.
Oh yeah, tell us all
you know
about
Time
poppers.
Out magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Time Out in London does this thing like things heard on the tube, and it's
Yeah,
always really
yeah.
funny things overheard on the tube. And one of the little things in there was overheard was yeah, I had a great night. I don't know what happened. I woke up in all my clothes, lying on my bed, with poppers in my pocket and a badge saying "bad bitch."
That's funny. Oh, someone said that in a tube.
Yeah, that's great, isn't
mad.
it? Isn't that a lovely story? That's what you hear around London.
That is funny. Yeah, London
cool.
sounds adventurous.
Really nice.
What is actually poppers? I know what poppers is, but like, what's it? Chemical?
What's it
What
used
chemical?
for? Like,
no,
yeah.
we know.
All right.
Can't
What
remember. Can't remember.
No, well, what originally though? I know what it's used for
Is it-
in clubs, but like, why is it invented?
Is animal nitrate? Is that the
Animal
same?
nitrate.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Oh.
yes.
animal nitrate. Yeah.
Not
I didn't
animal
know it
nitrate.
was used
Yeah, it's
like
not, yeah.
recreationally in clubs. I thought it was just like a gay man thing because like
Oh, yeah.
poppers is like a really
No, yeah,
common thing
they
because it like
apparently they're fun.
apparently loosens you up.
Yeah, just like in general.
Does it?
Yeah, that's,
Loosens up all bits of you.
Yeah,
yeah. So like that's why I always find it funny when I hear people talk about like taking poppers because it's just like that was the first kind of definition or use I had heard someone talk about.
Yeah.
So it's like it's what I always think of. Like I don't think of the actual other recreational kind of high use for it. So when I hear
Yeah.
someone took poppers, I'm just like,
They're having they're having an activity of the intercourse, possibly with the same
an
sex.
activity of the intercourse.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you know you said you wanted reasons for why you're single.
Is that?
Like, do you go up to people and say, "Would you like to have an activity of the intercourse"?
No, kind of. I would say I would go up to them.
That's
That
the
would be.
only time I've heard a phrase for sex worse than
I would
coitus.
say, hey, would you like
Worse than what?
Worse than coitus.
coitus or
Like activity of the intercourse is worse somehow.
Coitus always confuses me. There was a game we played in school called Coits, where you had these little round rubber rings and you threw them, and I always
would you
get
do
confused.
kites with your?
Coitus or coits? What do you want to do? You're asking me coitus, but could that be a game of coits? I have no idea.
That's mad. Did you
I'd
ever?
rather
So
do
you
the
played
coits,
plenty of
probably.
coitus.
Coits,
No, sorry.
yeah. In primary
Yeah.
That's a Latin word, isn't it?
Coitus is it? Okay.
French. The French. I think the French used to play it. I don't know.
Oh no, but I mean,
I'm getting confused about
And
which one.
coitus.
you're
Yeah, I have
talking
no
about.
idea what we're talking about. I think that's our
So
time
I
to
think
finish
your
up.
point
Yeah.
definitely stands. If we're getting
What's
confused
Yeah.
between which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and that may be it. That may be the reason why. Maybe I am lonely and I will because I don't know. What would you say to someone? So, like, what would you say? Would you like to do coitus? Would you like to do sex? Would you like to do
You probably
sexual?
wouldn't say any of those things.
Oh, really? What? Then how would I? Then you just kind of like.
You'd say hello.
Oh, right. So, okay. So
Or well,
I
or hi.
I say plenty hellos to strangers and nothing ever happens. So we'll see you next week. Anyway. Well, it's awful lonely in here. Right. See you next week. Thanks for watching on YouTube and thanks for listening on Spotify. The link to our merchandise website is in the description of this episode. Don't buy anything. Thanks. See ya.
Don't buy anything else.
Oh,
Not don't buy
that.
anything. Don't buy anything
Yeah.
else.
It's up to you. It's up to you. Right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
So long.